My name is Maisie Savage. I'm 31 years old. 7 years ago, on the morning of my final job interview, my father laughed in my face. "Girls like you don't get lives, Maisie. You get duties." My mother blocked the front door. My younger sister dropped a heavy diaper bag at my feet. "Watch my daughter. I have brunch." I had one chance at a real future. So I stepped over that bag, walked out the back door, and never looked back. For 7 years, they thought they had destroyed me. They were wrong. Now the tables have completely turned, and my sister is about to discover just how expensive her brunch that day truly was. If this story is making your blood boil, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is. I read every single one. Let me know if you're on Team Maisie, because what happens next will leave you speechless. My father owned Savage Climate Control, a small HVAC company in Riverside, Ohio. 8 employees, good reputation, church-going family. On paper, fine. Inside that house there was a system, and I was at the bottom of it. My sister Bryn was 2 years younger than me. She was the golden one, the one who got pregnant at 19, and somehow that made her more valuable, not less. She had a daughter, Olivia, blonde curls, my eyes. Olivia's first steps were toward me. I thought helping family was what you did. It started small. Watch Olivia for an hour, then all day, then overnight. By 22, I was raising my niece while Bryn tried to become an influencer, a lifestyle blog. 14 followers, 12 of them relatives. The blog failed. Essential oils, lost $800. Photography, 1 wedding, photos delivered 3 months late. My parents never told her to get a real job. They told me to help more. I was answering phones at the family office by 7 every morning, scheduling 4 field technicians, processing invoices, managing the database, handling AR/AP. When the office manager quit in 2017, I took over all her duties. My father never gave me a title or a paycheck. Family doesn't pay family. This is how you contribute. I did the math once. 65 hours of unpaid labor every week for 3 years. $65,520 at Ohio's minimum wage. But it wasn't about the money. They'd turned my 20s into a waiting room for everyone else's life. My bedroom was storage for Olivia's toys. I had a corner, a lamp, library books I never had time to read. I didn't have a life. I had duties. Then, in March 2019, something changed. I'd been taking free online courses at night. Google Project Management, Excel, Basic HR, applied to 60 jobs. Meridian Consulting Group was the only one that called back. Phone screen, then Zoom, then a final round in Columbus. Executive assistant to the CEO. $63,500 a year. I read that email 30 times. Hid it under my mattress like a teenage diary. It was my exit visa. The interview was April 15th at 2 p.m. I told my parents I had a dental appointment in Toledo. At 10:45, I came downstairs in borrowed blazer, black slacks, white blouse, hair in a neat bun. $17 and a bus ticket. My mother was standing in front of the door, arms crossed. Before I could speak, Bryn walked in, Tyler on her hip, Olivia trailing behind, diaper bag the size of a suitcase. She sat Tyler down and dropped the bag at my feet. Heavy thump. "Olivia needs lunch at noon. Tyler naps at 1. Don't let him sleep past 2:30. I'll be back by 4, probably." "I can't. I have something important." "More important than family?" Bryn laughed. My father appeared, not angry, amused. "Girls like you don't get lives, Maisie. You get duties. That's just how it is." I looked at Olivia. 4 years old, blonde curls, my eyes. The clock, 10:49. I stepped over the diaper bag, walked through the kitchen to the back door. "Maisie Ann, if you walk out that door..." I opened it. I walked 1.2 miles to the bus in $12 Payless flats. Past Savage Climate Control, my father's name on the sign, the place I'd worked 3 years without a paycheck. Made it at 11:58, 7 minutes to spare. Bus pulled out at 12:05. I sat in the back row, watched Riverside disappear. I thought, I'm free. The bus arrived at 1:57. Meridian was 3 blocks away. I ran, Actually ran, purse bouncing. Arrived at 2:02, breathless. Patricia Holland was waiting. Chief of Staff, mid-50s, kind eyes. You made it. Wouldn't miss it. Panel interview. Patricia, CFO James Reeves, Operations Manager Nicole Hendress. I described Savage Climate Control as a small HVAC company, never said family. What would this position mean to you? Building a career instead of just surviving. The interview ended at 3:15. You're a strong candidate, Maisie. I floated to the bus. By the time it pulled into Riverside at 5:38, I was imagining my new life. I didn't know my mother had already started destroying it. I went home, packed a duffel. My mother appeared. You embarrassed this family today. I'm leaving. You'll be back. No, I won't. One last night on the floor. Next morning, I left my key on the counter and took the Greyhound to Toledo. Jenna had a couch. You okay? I will be. 17 days. Jobs every morning. The Meridian response came April 23rd. After careful consideration, we have decided to move forward with another candidate. I read it 20 times. Found nothing. Cried once. Washed my face. Applied to 15 more jobs. What I wouldn't know for 7 years, the day after my interview, my mother had sent an email from a fake account to Meridian HR. That email sat in my file, flagged red. Do not hire. Family concerns. I just thought I'd failed. Let me pause here. Have you ever been the family member expected to sacrifice? The one with duties while everyone else had dreams? Comment duty below. You're not alone. Because this story gets a whole lot better. Target, $11 an hour, a cheap Toledo studio. In December, a temp position at a law firm. Then COVID hit. Layoffs, survival mode. I sent Olivia a birthday card every year, April 3rd. Never got a single response. But I kept sending them. June 2020, 11 p.m. $1,840 left in savings, rent due in 8 days. Then I saw it. HR Coordinator, Meridian Consulting Group. The company that had rejected me was hiring again. I stared at that posting for 3 hours, applied at 2 a.m., offered July 2nd, $45,000 a year. I sat on my apartment floor and sobbed, called Jenna, didn't call my family. July 13th, 2020, I walked into Meridian, the same building. Different role, different version of myself. This time, I'll make it stick. I stayed late, volunteered for everything. Nicole Hendress, now VP of Operations, became my mentor. Have you considered HR certification? Can't afford it. Company has tuition reimbursement. I'll sponsor you. Passed January 2021. First credential with my name on it. I framed it. HR Specialist, $52,000. Senior Specialist, $61,000. HR Manager, $76,000. April 2024. HR Director, $98,000. An office on the 4th floor, my name on the door. Maisie Savage, HR Director. No one had given it to me. I'd climbed every step, in the same building where I'd been rejected 7 years ago. I thought that was the full circle. I was wrong. I built a quiet life. Therapy from October 2022, I learned, I don't owe them, is a complete sentence. $18,000 saved by 2024, first time I felt financially secure. Thanksgiving 2021, alone in my apartment, I typed Mom into my contacts. Stared 5 minutes. Deleted them all. Whispered, I'm thankful too, for the back door. April 8th, 2026, Tuesday morning. Reviewing 89 applications for a project coordinator position. Scrolling. Then I saw it. Bryn Wright, formerly Savage. My coffee cup stopped halfway to my mouth. Riverside area code. My hands didn't shake, but my heart rate spiked. She didn't know I worked here. I clicked her file. Bryn Wright, Project Coordinator and Operations Specialist. Work history. Savage Climate Control, Riverside, Ohio. Operations Manager. January 2017 December 2019. Bullet points. Managed daily office operations, coordinated scheduling for 4 field technicians across a 6-county service area, processed invoices, maintained customer database, handled AR/AP, reduced scheduling conflicts by 35%, maintained 98% customer satisfaction. I read it 3 times. Every single bullet point was work I had done. Even the 98% satisfaction rate I'd calculated myself in 2018. Bryn had worked at Savage Climate Control for exactly 0 days. She had stolen my work history. References: Gerald Savage, owner, my father, listed as her former supervisor. He would lie for her. I had 2 options: recuse myself or follow standard protocol. I chose option 2. I searched my own name in Meridian's archived files. April 2019. Executive Assistant to CEO, rejected. I clicked the file. Interview notes. All positive, strong candidate. Then the HR notes. Red flagged April 16, 2019. Received email from concerned party. Recommend do not proceed. I clicked the attachment. From concernedneighbor209@gmail.com. Subject: concerns about candidate Maisie Savage, to whom it may concern. Maisie Savage, who interviewed with your company yesterday, has significant personal and mental health issues, making her unsuitable for professional employment. She abandoned her 4-year-old niece during a family emergency. Her sister had an urgent meeting, and Maisie had agreed to provide childcare, but left the child unattended and disappeared for hours. The family is worried about her increasingly erratic behavior. She has never held steady employment and has a history of quitting without notice. Her actual behavior is unstable and unreliable. A concerned neighbor. Every sentence was a lie. Agreed to provide childcare. I'd been trapped. Never held steady employment. 7 years unpaid. Erratic behavior. I'd simply left. I traced the IP, my parents' home address. My mother had sent this the morning after my interview. They hadn't just blocked the door, they'd burned the bridge. And Meridian still had the proof. Drop team her in the comments, because what happened next, I've waited 7 years to tell. I remembered my therapist's words. Justice doesn't have to be revenge. It can just be truth. I called Savage Climate Control, recorded. Legal in Ohio with one-party consent. Savage Climate Control, Jerry speaking, my father's voice. 7 years of silence. This is Maisie Savage, HR Director at Meridian Consulting Group, calling to verify employment for Bryn Wright. Long pause. Maisie: did Bryn Wright work at Savage Climate Control from January 2017 to December 2019 as operations manager? Yes, correct. Responsibilities? Office management, scheduling, invoices, customer service. Full-time, very reliable. Absolutely, I'd rehire her, one of the best we had. Every word false. Recorded. One more thing. During that period, did you have any other employees performing those same operations manager duties? Pause. No, just Bryn. That was the lie that mattered. I had been there. I wrote 1 line in Bryn's file. Employment verification completed. Discrepancies noted. Recommend in-person interview to clarify. Because I wanted to look her in the eye. I sent the invitation listing my name. Bryn responded, "Thank you so much. Looking forward to it." No recognition, no pause. She had never looked for me, never wondered, never cared. I briefed Jonathan and Nicole. Potential resume fraud. Let me lead. They said okay. April 14th, 2026, 9:58 a.m. A woman walked into the lobby. Brown hair, nervous smile, clutching a portfolio. Bryn, 29, tired around the eyes, trying hard. I made eye contact. She froze. "Bryn, I'm Maisie Savage, HR Director. Welcome." Her face went white. "Maisie, I didn't know you worked here." 7 years is a long time. Please follow me. 20 standard minutes. Then, Nicole. Tell me about Savage Climate Control. Operations Manager, 3 years. Family business. Scheduling, billing, customer service. I took notes. No expression. Family business? My father's company, 2017 to 2019, full-time. At 10:22, Jonathan and Nicole left. Planned. Door closed. Maisie, I didn't know you'd be... I held up my hand. Let's talk about your resume. I slid it across the table. Operations Manager, January 2017 to December 2019. Is that accurate? Yes, full-time. Were you paid? Pause. It was a family contribution, but I did the work. I called Jerry Savage. He confirmed you worked full-time as operations manager. Did you ask him to lie? I helped out. Helped out. That's different from operations manager, full-time, 3 years. I kept my voice calm, cold. I worked at Savage Climate Control from January 2017 to December 2019. Unpaid, full-time, doing the exact job on this resume. Every bullet point here, I wrote them. Because they're my accomplishments. You took my work history and put your name on it. Her face cycled through red, white, red. I needed a job, 3 kids. Danny left. I just needed something that looked real. I slid the second document across. The April 16th, 2019 email. What is this? An email sent to Meridian HR the day after I interviewed here. It said I was unstable, that I'd abandoned your daughter, that I was unemployable. I don't understand. It came from Mom. I traced the IP to her computer at the house. I didn't know about that. But you knew they sabotaged my interview. You were there that morning. You dropped the diaper bag at my feet. Maisie, I was 22, pregnant, overwhelmed. And I had a life-changing interview. You chose. They chose. I lost this job because of that email and didn't know it existed until last week. Her voice rising. You left us. You walked out like we meant nothing. I left because I was drowning. You turned me into your unpaid nanny for 7 years, and when I finally tried to save myself, you destroyed me. Bryn started crying, ugly, desperate. I felt nothing. I'd cried all my tears years ago. Then she said it. You left and everything fell apart. We needed you. That's when I noticed the conference phone. Little light on, call active. Text from Nicole. Maisie, conference line, 12 people listening. My assistant had set up the conference bridge to test audio for a 2:30 call. The system glitched. The line connected early. 12 people. Jonathan, Nicole, managers, client stakeholders, and Patricia Holland, my 2019 interviewer. They'd heard everything. Bryn kept crying, unaware. I lost my job in 2021, then 2022, then 2023. Nobody wants to hire a mom with gaps. I had to lie. I reached over, clicked mute, then unmuted, making sure they heard clearly. I could have ended the call. 7 years ago, I would have. But I'd learned something. The truth deserves witnesses. Mom said you'd come crawling back. Do you know what Dad says? That you're selfish, that you abandoned family. I'm not judging you, Bryn. I'm conducting a background check. And you lied on your resume. That's fraud. I helped at the company. Occasionally, while I worked 40-hour weeks unpaid. You claimed my accomplishments and Dad lied to verify them. We're family. You're supposed to help. I did, for 7 years, and the day I tried to help myself, you blocked the door. Bryn stood and screamed, You think you're better than me? You're nobody. You'll always be nobody. Girls like you. She stopped, because I was staring at her. Finish that sentence, I said quietly. She sat down. My phone rang. Jonathan. End this now. Security is outside. Understood. I looked at Bryn. This interview is over. 2 security officers. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Bryn's voice broke. Maisie, please, I just needed this. I'm sorry, Bryn. I can't hire someone who committed resume fraud. Security led her to the elevator. She looked back once. My face was calm, not cruel, not gloating, just done. I spoke into the conference speaker. This concludes the candidate interview. Disconnected. Sat alone for 5 minutes. Didn't cry, didn't celebrate, just sat. Then Jonathan called me into his office. Nicole, Patricia Holland, and General Counsel Michael Brennan were there. I thought, I'm fired. Jonathan, that was one of the most professional handlings of a conflict of interest I've ever seen. Are you okay? Nicole, we heard everything. The 2019 sabotage, the resume fraud. I'm so sorry. Patricia, I was your interviewer in 2019. I never saw that email. If I'd known. Michael, you have grounds for legal action. I don't want legal action. I just want it on record. Jonathan, we'll flag her in our industry network. Professional consequences, not personal revenge. Nicole handed me a tissue. I hadn't realized I was crying. I went home, turned off my phone, slept 14 hours. The next 48 were chaos. Calls, voicemails, Bryn at the lobby turned away. My father physically removed by police for trespassing. April 17th, lawyer, cease and desist to all 3. No contact by any means. 3 weeks of silence. Then, May 8th, 2026, an Instagram DM. Hi, this is Olivia, Bryn's daughter, your niece. I'm 11. Mom threw your birthday cards away, but I took them out of the trash. 7 of them in a box under my bed. Grandma said you abandoned us, but you sent cards every year. That doesn't seem like abandoning. I found your LinkedIn because Mom was looking you up and crying. I'm not asking you to talk to Mom. I just wanted you to know I got the cards. And I miss you. I don't really remember you, but I miss you anyway. Olivia. I sobbed 20 minutes, then replied, Olivia, I'm so glad you kept the cards. I think about you every birthday. If you ever need anything as you grow up, message me. I'll always respond. Aunt Maisie. Olivia replied, thank you. That was enough. 1 month later, Mom got a job at a call center. She's mad all the time. But I got an A on my English essay. I wanted to tell someone who'd care. I did care. That was the relationship I saved from the wreckage. Summer therapy. Grief, anger without guilt, closure without an apology. My therapist said, you didn't destroy your sister's life. She did that with lies. You just refused to be part of the lies anymore. August 15th, 2026. An email from Patricia Holland. In 2019, we were going to offer you the executive assistant position. $63,500. Start date, April 29th. The offer was ready. Then HR flagged your file and I was told to stop. You deserve to know you'd earned it. I'm sorry we failed you. Attached, the unsigned offer letter. You were good enough then. You're exceptional now. Patricia. I printed it, framed it next to my current business card. The validation I'd needed for 7 years. I'd been good enough. They'd stolen it. But I'd built something better anyway. April 15th, 2027. 8 years since the back door. 1 year since Bryn's interview. Promoted in January, VP of People Operations. $115,000 a year. I mentor young professionals from controlling families. Olivia messages me sometimes. 12 now, thriving. I'm not her parent, but I'm someone who sees her. My parents moved to Florida. No contact. Bryn is in retail management. Doing okay. $34,000 saved. Therapy, a life I built from scratch, and peace. This morning I was training a new HR coordinator. She asked, how do you spot resume fraud? Look for gaps, inflated titles, claims without evidence. Always verify with the actual employer. Have you ever caught someone? Once. It was personal, but I handled it professionally. You can have history with someone and still do your job with integrity. I looked at my calendar. April 15th, 2027. 8 years. A note I'd never deleted. The day I chose the back door. I added one word. Free. If this story meant something to you, if you've walked out a back door or you're still standing at one deciding, share this. Someone in your life might need to hear it. Subscribe for more stories like this. Real people, real boundaries, real freedom. The front door isn't the only exit. Sometimes the back door is the one that saves you. Some doors you walk away from. Some close behind you, and some, like the back door I took 8 years ago, lead exactly where you need to go. Thanks for listening.